The House does remain at a standstill as Steve Scalise, the Louisiana Republican, struggles to collect the votes necessary to be elected Speaker. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries is now calling on the GOP to end their, quote, civil war. Leigh Caldwell and Major Garrett joined us now. Leigh is the co-author for the Washington Post 202 newsletter and an anchor for Washington Post Live. Major is CBS News' chief Washington correspondent. Great to have all of you here. We began with Nicole on the show talking about the stalled talks among Republicans on Capitol Hill. Let's take it a step further. Let's begin with Leigh and Major, you pipe in about your analysis and reporting. If not Steve Scalise, who?
Well, there's...
Spin the big speaker wheel.
I know. So you can answer that a couple ways. Right. There is very few people on Capitol Hill right now who think that there is a consensus candidate, that there is a candidate who can find 217 Republican votes on the House floor to be Speaker of the House. Now, that's perhaps the reality. What is happening, though, is that members are starting to talk about who that next person is going to be. For example, my sources tell me that Tom Emmer, the whip right now, who is running for majority leader, is making calls to be the majority leader should Scalise pull this out. Those calls, I'm told, are devolving into Republicans he's talking to asking him to run for Speaker. There's another option, perhaps just give the temporary Speaker, Patrick McHenry, right now more power. And then, you know, there's a couple other names like Tom Cole. Maybe they create some sort of coalition government with Democrats. But right now, all of this is really fantasy land until Scalise can either bow out or clinch the nomination, which is not likely.
But Scalise is not going to bow out until he goes round and round and round several times to try to see if he can get close to 217. And maybe he makes the calculation if he's at 210, 212, bring it to the floor and use the dynamics of the floor, the pressure of public view to push people across the finish line. We're a long way from there, but he's not going to give up after a day and a half. Patrick McHenry is also being talked about, as Leigh said. And there's an important person who no one in this audience has ever heard of before, Jason Smith. You know who Jason Smith is? He's the parliamentarian of the House. People are going to him right now and saying, is it possible for you to agree under House rules to expand the powers of the temporary speakership so the House can actually do a couple of things, maybe not under the auspices of a full speaker, but with Patrick Henry as Speaker pro tem, do some things to allow the House to function. These questions are now being asked and answered completely off the books in an unprecedented way. Again, that word, unprecedented. Yeah. And so there are these other options. And though it is a very, very, very long shot, he hovers on the side. The former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy.
Matt Gaetz, the congressman from Florida,
but
he would never vote for him.
He wouldn't. But he has allies who want him to say, I'm not ruling it out. Any of these things are possible, but nothing will come to the fore until Scalise has exhausted his game plan.
Let's dig into that. Major brought up the question of whether Scalise, and when he comes to the floor, whether he tries to win this on the floor, almost like he's rolling the dice, doesn't have the votes, but hopes the pressure cooker of a floor vote for Speaker could make it happen for him. When, or do you even believe Scalise is going to bring this to the floor? Or having covered him for a while, do you believe he's going to hold back privately until he really has the votes?
Yeah, so that's one of the questions that's happening right now. They are trying to figure out, and there's two frames of thought here. Some say you go to the floor and at least show where everyone stands, because it's only been a secret ballot behind closed doors right now. So everyone will be on the record and see how much he wins by or how much he loses by. There's the other thought that it's just, if he loses, it's another instance of showing that Republicans are unable to govern, that it's just more chaos. They can't get anything done. They can't even choose a leader. And then right before I came here, I spoke to one Republican member who said the going to the floor theory is very dangerous because then you could vote again. How many people want to vote against Donald Trump, who has backed Jim Jordan, and who wants to vote against Jim Jordan? And once 5 people have already voted against Scalise, then the barn door is open and it could just be a runaway
And Democrats
attempt.
are watching this. They could always decide to vote for somebody else or vote for vote present.
Right.
There are a lot of legislative...
Once you throw the floor open, lots of things can happen. And this goes back to the cycle that Kevin McCarthy went through that long week when he finally secured the speakership. Leigh knows this, you know this, I know this. Afterwards, Republicans said, you know what? It was a brutal, chaotic public process, but you know, we came together. We talked our differences out. That's now a fallacy, because all the same dynamics that forced Kevin McCarthy to go to 15 votes are present now. And if anything, they've incentivized people to hold their vote, to become individual king or queen makers, and keep themselves out of the collaborative process of a functional House Republican conference to get whatever they want on precisely their terms. Those incentives have not diminished. They've only increased, complicating Scalise's efforts.
Yeah, just take a step back here. Like, this is the end of a second week where the House floor has been completely paralyzed. Last week they spent kicking out their speaker, and then they adjourned because they all hated each other so much. This week they're trying to elect a new speaker. Meanwhile, you have just over a month. Government funding runs out again. Any day now, you're going to have an emergency supplemental from the administration about Israel. There's all these real-world things that are happening that Congress can't get to.
Can an emergency supplemental even move through the House without a speaker?
Back to these conversations with Jason Smith, the parliamentarian. Is there a way, if the House votes to do this, and maybe House Republicans could vote to do this. We don't have a speaker yet, but we want to do a couple of things. We will invest by a rule vote on the floor this Speaker pro tem with specific select powers to advance a couple of things, just to get things moving a little bit.
I think every constitutional scholar in the country would be feasting on whether that's even legal.
But under the Constitution, if the House, through a majority vote, votes this as a new rule, at least can govern for the temporary time being. These kind of conversations are going on.
The unprecedented then is a new precedent is set. And that's part of what they are also deciding.
Yeah.
What a world when you can't make laws. Maybe you rewrite the rules in the House of Representatives. Leigh Caldwell and Major Garrett, thank you very much.